Video 22, actor-based reality. Boris Johnson is a comedian. Bonus extra, Trump and Pence are comedians too. That's the first time I've devoted a whole video to an individual in this multi-role actor game. That's the hardest one I've come across. Maybe that makes it a challenge. Normally I see a video on this subject and it just hits me, yeah, these are the same people, unless they've got it wrong. Most times on these videos it's right, but I can usually see it before I even see the video, and then sometimes I see if I can come up with any more proofs just for interest. But this, no, nothing from this side by side tells me that these are the same man, but there are other techniques to use, very powerful. I got this idea that Matt equals Boris from a comment either in a Burn List blog or Ex-Disciple, definitely one of those two. See my links for them under video 6. The commenter seems to know what he was talking about, so I looked into it. As far as I know, nobody's taken this on because it is kind of mad, and I doubt many are going to come to my conclusions. Now, Matt must be the default man. A total face mask is a possibility, but I don't think so. He's got a baby face, a blank slate to write on, to put on all their latex work and prosthetics, and he does some comedy sketches as a baby. These men are the same height and build, so can't be ruled out for that. Don't use bios for height, they're all made up. Look at photos of them next to others. I think maybe Matt has some kind of hormonal problem. He looks like the type who doesn't have body hair anywhere, but he does have eyelashes, and note he has eyelids for later on. He had a husband, Kevin, and we are told 10 years ago that Kevin committed suicide. Dallas Goldbug said, when in doubt, check the spouse. So could Carrie, this feminine looking wife of Boris Johnson, possibly be Kevin? Could Kevin pass for a woman? Yes, easily. He's got a feminine face. He's left a bit of stubble on here to masculinize him, probably in preparation for the to contrast him with the role that he was about to play. Here he's showing his feminine side. Both these guys are little guys, they're short. You can't see here with them just next to each other. Matt has small hands, but if you look at Kevin, they're tiny, they're smaller even than Matt. So let's merge this picture with this one, and yeah, there's a resemblance. For me at least, it's the same head and the same face. There's a 10-year age difference at least, and Carrie looks slimmer, although he was slim to start with. Now, there used to be a comedy called League of Gentlemen, and the main two characters here had a pig snout, where the lower cartilage and skin that surrounds it of the nose is flat with the ends of the nostrils. Obviously this is a prosthetic here for comedic effect, but when they disguise somebody to play somebody else, this is actually a very commonplace for a prosthetic. And they had a tip, they also had a bump on the nose, just small things, but it completely changes the appearance. They don't usually bother so much with spouses, but who's looking? We are, that's it, in the whole world. Now, some people have a sort of piggy snout, a flat snout naturally. It's not necessarily ugly like this, but it's not considered a mark of beauty. So what about Kevin and Carrie? Well, they've both got it, haven't they? They've both got a piggy nose, all right. I enlarge this. Same nose, isn't it? Let's merge this one and this one, and the same flat snout. I think the Carrie instance has made its nose smaller. They've got the same pout, naturally pouting lips, and they've got the same hair. It's always falling over the forehead at roughly 45 degrees. I don't think it looks good, but it's always covering the hairline. And let's just see if they are always like that. So here are many pictures of Carrie, and she's always got her hair like that. And so is Kevin, same person. They like that style. Both instances wear wigs. They're quality wigs, but wigs can always be spotted by the hairline. Now, many famous people wear wigs, but they don't care, because who spots it? Hardly anybody. And even if they do, so what? And it allows them more attractive and different hairstyles with the hairline showing. But anyway, he likes it like this. Matt Lucas always has his silly comedy smile in every photo except this one. Is he one-dimensional? No, he just has to differentiate himself from Boris. Boris also wears a wig, of course, because he's Matt. I think it's a generally bald man, and you can see this bit of the wig here. It's like a little a miniature carpet stuck on, and it's pulling away from his neck because it's stuck on with double-sided tape, and you shouldn't really stick anything to the neck. The neck moves. The scalp doesn't move. It's safer. And he's also had heavy latex work, and it's quite unnatural actually, but they have to make him different from Matt. If you look at his sort of iguana eyes, the eyelids should be touching the eyes to clean them, but here the eyes are just completely inset, nowhere near the skin. Very false. If a straight-laced NPC thinks it's nonsense that these two are the same person, ask them why the Prime Minister has heavy latex work and why his hair, which you can tell from this photo, is a mess when he wears a wig. If you go to the trouble of wearing a wig, it's to make your hair look good, but it's always a mess because his wig is just to emphasise and pretend that he has hair, unlike his other instance. Matt impersonating Boris. They always do this. The comedians impersonate their other instance. They could have made him look a lot more like Boris, couldn't they? So what's this? Well, it's an early Boris. You see, it's 1996. This was posted 2019. And not nearly as much latex work. Well, he's younger, of course, and his wig is neat and tidy. If you look at the tweet, he wasn't even an MP at this stage. Obviously, you know, there would have been the plan that he was going to be Prime Minister, and he'd have obviously known that, but he didn't. He wasn't that important for the press at this time. Now, I've got to say that there's some sort of previous knowledge that helps me with this one, and it's not strictly related to this. Well, does she inject her lip? Her lower lip is asymmetrical with itself left to right. And the background knowledge is about the penchant our secret world government have for using men as first ladies, not transgenders, cross-dressing men. And First Ladies is an American term, but I'm using it here for the world. And in all countries, they're men. This photo is just the USA. I can't say it's 100%, but I would guess it is, but I don't know. And historical First Ladies too. And one friend said, what about Melania? She's hot. Melania Trump. And she does have nice face and hair, but she's very androgenic. A very androgenic look, isn't it? I mean, are women healthy with this little fat? Can they even get this skinny unless they're anorexic? If male, he would have been snipped to be a bikini model. We're used to seeing women like this, not usually women-looking men, I mean cross-dressing men, but androgenic women on our screens, TV, film, internet, magazines. They are different. Hollywood types like this are extreme. They're not usually extreme. See my video number 2 for examples of groups of less extreme young women next to groups of completely normal young women to see all the subtle differences, because they do exist. They're more subtle than of Melania. But Hollywood types like this are hardly subtly different to normal women. Another piece of background knowledge that helps me is that comedians are often used in a secret multi-role capacity as leaders. I mean, the British ones, John Cleese and the Monty Python, several of the Monty Python and Mr. Bean, they've all been or are European leaders. So why all this nonsense? Well, there's an obvious reason, a simple reason, but I think it's too simple. It's not satisfactory on its own, maybe not at all, or maybe in combination with others. That's the feudal idea that these actors are easily discredited puppets, who I'm sure don't have the legal power of a leader. The secret world government must have got that sorted out. Maybe countries are corporations, and the director of a corporation is under the owners of that corporation. But I'll say in a minute why it would be a desperate wild card to discredit one of their puppets and have the law and lawmakers dismiss them. And also the law becomes irrelevant in a revolution. Well, I've seen lots of ideas for who Trump is, and they all say different people. See a list of these sort of multi-role actor YouTube channels under my video 6. There's usually some agreement on people, but everybody has different ideas for Trump. I think he's been played by 3 different men. That's another topic. It's easy to do with Trump because he's so fat and masked, and they've done it with more distinct and non-obese people, so they can easily get away with it with Trump. But at the end of this, we'll see who I think got it right for the current Trump anyway. Anyway, back to my point. These people are actors, such as comedians, so it's easy for the secret world government to defame or discredit if they need to. But it's still a huge risk, because assumed power is power if people follow them. All the presidents, and recently ex-presidents like this one, have a strong following. It may not be the majority, but it's still strong. Let's use Biden as an example, because he's the current president. He could repent his deceptive past to the world, and if he still has popular support, which he would have, maybe even growing, he could dismiss his secret leadership and clean up. But I think secret world government is probably more by cooperation. If they had to denounce one of their puppet leaders, it's hugely risky, because people would want to know, well, who are the puppet masters? Anyway, that's another video about this secret world government, which I may not make, because people I talk to hate it unless I describe secret world government as ultimate evil. Well, they might be, but calm down, we don't know, do we? It's just fascinating to analyse. They certainly want us to think they are satanic ultimate evil. They give us every bit of disinformation to support that view. But then again, I'm questioning that. I've come out the other side, and my knowledge is ultimately just what I've been spoon-fed by them from watching YouTube and forums and things like that. We have to differentiate information from disinformation. What if using well-known actors as pretend leaders, and they have to be well-known, they always are well-known in both instances, is our Creator telling us, don't get hung up about anything man-made, and don't worry, it's all a joke, everything you are taught all your life is a lie, we know that, that's the joke, get it, but it's all under control, you're being tested. Or maybe we asked for this test even, something like Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. I don't know, that's maybe it may sound optimistic, maybe I'm a foolish optimist, but I don't think it's optimistic, I think it's a running theory. It's what I think at the moment. I still think this realm is a test for us, although a vicious test. Talking of Melania, see links in the description under this video for great videos about the current Trump, equals John Candy. And I think it's an easy one. Look at that smile and the nasolabial folds. They're filled in at the bottom here. But it's a very good technique to look at the nasolabial folds. They do fill them in, but they're still pretty distinct. Look at that lumpy bit on the chin. And look at the line of the double chin, which has become more pronounced and permanent as an older man. This chin is the same chin, no two ways about it, at least for this version of Trump. This video maker doesn't talk in her videos, but she's got great music and great side-by-sides like this one. There were members of John Candy's family, not brilliantly disguised, in the front rows of Trump's inauguration, and Trump's pretend family was standing next to him on the stage. And they, except not Melania, double up as the members of the Britney Spears Federline family, which may even be a real family. Also a link to a good video on Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence being Chevy Chase. And while on the subject of Chevy Chase, just to do a complete job of it, I'll link in the description a burn list blog showing him to be singer Jim Morrison. That's a no-brainer. That was a long time ago, before the internet. They've done a lot more work to disguise him as Pence. And also it shows him as J. Rockefeller, which he is, but that's a harder one, that's like Pence. And I'll also link another blog by Mossad-ALF blogspot, which shows Chevy Chase's musician, not a well-known musician, as Andrew DuBrock. It's a bit of a messy blog, but check out the links he gives on his blog. It is the same guy. They just love bringing couples or colleagues back together again. I said in video 18 I'd do a video on the techniques of the multi-role malarkey, but I won't. It's too long and unwieldy. I'll just do individuals, and techniques will out along the way. I also said in video 18 my next video would be Bible clues in it that denounce it as being holy, which was a kind of change of opinion from me in my former videos, but that's a very big subject. It's fascinating, but it's going to probably be in 2 or 3 parts. It may be a while. I'll probably do some short videos like this first, and then when I've got the time I'll do the longer ones. I still think there are important messages in the Bible, certainly. Allegories, lots of wisdom. Thank you for watching. See you next time.